Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another lesson. In this lesson, we are going to learn about IELTS Speaking Part 2. Our topic is going to be Describe an aquatic animal. Describe an aquatic animal. In this lesson, we are going to look at some questions and some sample answers. At the end of this lesson, I'm going to give you some tips to ensure that you pass your IELTS speaking test with a very high band. But before we begin the lesson, I would like to give you some information about how to use my channel to pass your IELTS exams. Where should you begin? I would say that you should have a look at my playlist on IELTS Speaking Part 1. Every single day, ensure that you watch a video on IELTS Speaking Part 1, and then also have a look at my playlist on IELTS Speaking Part 2 and Part 3 cue cards. Every single day, watch a video on IELTS Speaking Part 1 and listen and watch a video on IELTS Speaking Part 2 and Part 3. I have put all the speaking topics in order. So begin by watching one video every single day for Speaking Part 1 and Part 2 and Part 3. Then have a look at my IELTS Writing Task 1 playlist. In that playlist, I have uploaded videos on all the different types of Writing Tasks 1 that you may get. Now, I also recommend that you, at the same time, watch the videos in IELTS Writing Task 2. In that playlist, I have uploaded videos about all the different types of IELTS Writing Task 2 questions that you may get. So, for your listening, all you need is the playlists on IELTS Speaking Part 1 and the playlist on IELTS Speaking Part 2 and Part 3 cue card topics. And for writing, look at the playlist on IELTS Writing Task 1 and the playlist on IELTS Writing Task 2. Now, some of you, maybe you benefit when you do one thing at a time. You may decide, I want to start with writing. So, if you want to start improving on your writing, then you could start by looking at the playlist on IELTS Writing Task 1. Like I said, you will find videos there on all the different types of questions that you could get for Task 1. And then after that, you may decide, okay, I want to now begin watching the videos on IELTS Writing Task 2. In that playlist, you will find videos on all the different types of essays that you could get for Task 2. And then you go and have a look at the IELTS speaking videos. But some people, personally, I would recommend that you try and work on all the skills at the same time. So meaning that be watching the IELTS Speaking Part 1, Part 2 and Part 3 videos, and also every single day ensure that you are practicing or using the IELTS Writing Task 1 and the Task 2 playlists. Now, to train for your listening, I would recommend that you use the playlist on IELTS Writing, or rather IELTS Speaking Part 2 and Part 3 cue cards. I have about 40 or more cue cards on IELTS Speaking Part 2 and Part 3. So just keep listening and listening to those cue card answers, and before you know it, you will find yourself understanding English very easily. So that's my advice on where should I start. I get that question a lot with students. Where should I start preparing for my IELTS? All you have to do, have a look at my playlists on IELTS Speaking Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, and then look at the playlist on IELTS Writing Task 1 and IELTS Writing Task 2. And if you have problems in grammar, if that's what is letting you down, I recommend that you have a look at my playlist on grammar. I have videos on all the different topics, all the different tenses in English, well explained with examples. So have a look at that. Or maybe you say to me, Miss, my problem is vocabulary. Don't worry, I have a playlist, a whole playlist on vocabulary. And maybe you'd say, I need to know how I can actually speak English in different situations. Now, I have a complete playlist on how to speak English in different situations. For example, how to describe, how to talk about your hobbies in English, for example, how to make a phone call in English, how to describe what you did yesterday, how to talk about your future plans in English. I have all those videos in a playlist that is called How to Speak English in Different Situations. Okay, I hope I have given you enough information that is going to help you to know where to start. Now, let's get into our lesson. So in this lesson, we're talking about an aquatic animal. What is an aquatic animal? An aquatic animal is an animal that lives in water for the most part of its life. So the question is, describe an aquatic animal. You should say A, what it looks like, B, when and where you saw it, C, explain how you felt. Let's begin with question A. Describe what it looks like. The key word here is what. It looks like. Okay? What it looks like. Not what it eats. No, what it looks like. So its physical appearance. So you need to talk about its physical features. What it looks like. Now, you can answer that question by saying, an aquatic animal that I would like to describe is a fish. There are numerous types of fish, for example, rooster fish, sailfish, and the yellowfin fish, but I'm going to describe the hatchet fish. Like all fish, it has gills and pectoral fins, which are wing-like. This type of fish varies from 3 to 10 centimeters in length and can be silver, black, or gray in color. They are covered in delicate silvery scales, and their eyes are often quite large, tubular, and pointing upwards. An aquatic animal that I would like to describe is a fish. There are numerous types of fish, for example, roosterfish, sailfish, and the yellowfin fish, but I'm going to describe the hatchet fish. Like all fish, it has gills and pectoral fins, which are wing-like. This type of fish varies from 3 to 10 centimeters in length and can be silver, black, or gray in color. They are covered in delicate silvery scales and their eyes are often quite large, tubular and pointing upwards. So what have I done in that answer? I have provided a very detailed answer, as you should in your IELTS speaking part 2. Be very detailed in your answers, okay? I have described the fish, but before I did that, I identified what sort of aquatic animal I would like to describe. I introduced that part of the answer with an aquatic animal that I would like to describe is a fish. And then I identified the different types of fish that we have. There are numerous types of fish. Numerous means many. There are many types. Many. Numerous mean exactly the same. So you can use numerous, or you can use many, or you can use various, okay? There are numerous types of fish. There are various types of fish. There are different kinds of fish. You can also say that. For example, that is a linking word, roosterfish, sailfish, and the yellowfish, the yellowfin fish. But I'm going to describe the hatchet fish. Now you can also say an aquatic animal that I would like to describe is the hatchet fish. And then after that, I described what it looks like. I identified all its physical features. It has gills. It has pectoral fins, which are wing-like. That means they look like wings. I also described the fish in terms of length. I said it varies from 3 to 10 centimeters. And then I talked about the colors. It can be silver, black, or gray in color. And then I carried on and talked about the fact that they are covered in delicate silvery scales. And their eyes are often quite large, tubular, and pointing upwards. So I have described what this fish looks like in details. It has gills. It has a pectoral fin, which are wing-like. I've talked about the length. I've talked about the colors. I have talked about the silvery scales. I've talked about the eyes. Okay? So that's what you should do when you're describing the aquatic animal, when you're asked to talk about what it looks like. Don't talk about what it eats, okay, where it lives. That has nothing to do with what it looks like. That answer would be irrelevant. Now let's move on to B. When and where you saw it. The key part of the questions here are when and where. When did you see it? Where? Now, you can answer that question by saying, I saw the hatchet fish in an aquarium last year when I visited our local zoo in the outskirts of the city on a family day out. I saw the hatchet fish in an aquarium last year when I visited our local zoo in the outskirts of the city on a family day out. So, have I answered the when part of the question? Yes, because I said that was last year. Have I answered the where part, where I saw it? Yes. I said that I saw it in our local zoo in an aquarium, okay, in the outskirts of the city. And then what did I do next? I provided a few details around the when and the where. I said, I saw the hatchet fish in an aquarium last year when I visited our local zoo and where is the local zoo? It is in the outskirts of the city. When did I visit? Last year. And why? Because it was a family day out. So try and provide some extra details around the when and the where. Do not simply say, I saw the hatchet fish last year in a zoo. Now, that's not enough. That's not going to score you a high band. Try and provide some extra details around the when and the where part of the question. Now let's move on to C, and that is explain how you felt. Explain how you felt. In this question, the examiner wants you to talk about your feelings. How did you feel when you saw the aquatic animal? Now you can answer that question by saying, I was intrigued by the hatchet fish due to its ability to jump out of the water and catch small insects. I was also mesmerized and absolutely stunned by its capability to produce light, which makes it very unique. I was intrigued by the hatchet fish due to its ability to jump out of the water and catch small insects. I was also mesmerized and absolutely stunned by its capability to produce light, which makes it very unique. So what have I done in that answer? I have explained my feelings in details, how I felt when I saw the hatchet fish. The first word that I used was I was intrigued. When you're intrigued, it means that you find whatever you have seen very interesting. You become very curious. You are intrigued. You're interested and curious to know more about what you're looking at. Intrigued. Okay? You're very interested. You're very curious. And then I explained why I was intrigued when I saw the hatchet fish. I said due to is a linking word that means because. Due to its ability to jump out of the water and catch small insects. I found that very intriguing, okay? I found that very interesting. The fact that it has the ability to jump out of the water and catch small insects. And then I explained something else about how I felt when I saw the hatchet fish. I was also mesmerized. I was mesmerized. When you're mesmerized, you're fascinated. I was also fascinated. I was mesmerized. Remember, you're aiming for a band 9. So you need to use advanced vocabulary. I was also mesmerized. Mesmerized means fascinated. And absolutely stunned. Absolutely stunned. Stunned means shocked. I was absolutely stunned by its capability. Capability means ability. So I don't want to use the word ability twice because I'm aiming for a band 9. So I use the word capability, which means ability. I was absolutely stunned. To be absolutely stunned is to be absolutely shocked by its capability to produce light, which makes it very unique. Very unique. Unique means it's unusual, which makes it very unique, which makes it very unusual. You can use unique or you can use unusual. Okay? So I have used a number of words in sample answer C to describe my feelings. Intrigued, mesmerized, absolutely stunned. Okay? Now, that's how you're supposed to answer these questions on describe an aquatic animal. What have I done? I have underlined for you all the vocabulary that is useful when you're talking about this topic, because that is the first tip that I was going to give you. When you're answering this sort of question, The first thing that is important to remember is to use the vocabulary that is suitable for the topic that you're talking about. Tip number 2, make sure that you underline all the key parts of the question. In question A, the key part of the question is what. In B, it is when and where. And in C, it is explain how you feel. So underline the key part of the question to ensure that you make notes and you do not go off topic. Tip number 3 is use a variety of sentence structures in your answers. If you're aiming for a band 8 or a band 9, then you need to be using a lot of compound and complex sentence. A compound sentence has 2 verbs. Okay, a compound sentence has 2 verbs and it has 1 linking word. A complex sentence has 2 or more linking words. For example, sample answer A. There are numerous types of fish, for example, rooster fish, sailfish, and the yellow fin fish, but I'm going to describe the hatchet fish. That is a complex sentence. You can see it has 2 linking words, for example, and bat. The next sentence, like all fish, it has gills and pectoral fins, which are wing-like. That is a compound sentence. It has only 1 linking word, and that is and. And the third sentence, this type of fish varies from 10 centimeters in length and can be silver, black, or gray in color. Okay, that is a complex sentence because we have 2 linking words. We have and we have or. And the last one, they are covered in delicate scales and their eyes are often quite large, tubular, and pointing upwards. Now that is a complex sentence. So if you're aiming for a band 8 and a band 9, then you need to use a lot of complex sentences. Sample answer C is a complex sentence. Okay? The first one and the second one. And of course, sample answer B is also a complex sentence. I saw the hatchet fish in an aquarium last year when I visited our local zoo in the outskirts of the city on a family day out. Now, the next tip that I'm going to give you is try and, as much as possible, try and use intonation when you're giving your answers. Intonation simply means raise and lower your voice when you're giving your answers to reflect what it is that you're saying. For example, when I'm giving sample answer C, I'm talking about my feelings. So I will make sure that the examiner can feel the feelings in my voice through the use of intonation. I was intrigued by the hatchet fish due to its ability to jump out of the water and catch small insects. I was also mesmerized and absolutely stunned by its capability to produce light, which makes it very unique. Okay? Now, the last tip is use linking words to join your ideas together. I have used a number of linking words and I have underlined for you the linking words that I've used in sample answer A. I have used, for example, I have used and, I have used or, and in sample answer B, I have also used a number of linking words. For example, when, okay, and on, which are prepositions, but in this case, they connect ideas together. And then in sample answer C, I used due to and I used and. So use a number of linking words to join your ideas together. Now, if you're going to be sitting for your IELTS speaking test in the near future, I wish you all the best. Remember, you can do it. All you have to do is practice so that you can improve your fluency. So I would recommend read the questions and read the sample answers and keep reading the sample answers to improve the speed that you use when you're speaking English, but also to improve your pronunciation. And finally, be very careful with your grammar. be very careful with your tenses. Make sure you use the correct tense to give your answers. How do you know which tense to use to give your answers? Listen to the question. The question is, for example, in B, when and where you saw it. The verb in that question is saw. It is in the past tense. So your answers should be in the past tense as well. I saw the hatchet fish in an aquarium last year when I visited. So the verbs there, saw and visited, are both in the past tense. Explain how you felt. Felt is in the past tense. So my answers are also going to be in the past tense. I was intrigued. Intrigued is in the past tense. I was also mesmerized. Was and mesmerized are also in the past tense. I was absolutely stunned. The verb stunned is in the past tense. Okay? So look at the tense that is in the question, and that should be a clue as to what sort of tense you should use to give your answers. And most of the times we use the present and the past tense anyway. Now, if you found this lesson helpful at all, if you have learned something new from this lesson, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and share this video with others on all your social media platforms. Do not forget to turn your notification bell on, because I'm going to be uploading more videos on IELTS speaking, writing, okay? And also remember, I upload 1 or 2 videos every single day, Monday to Friday. Now, thank you very much, everyone, and I wish you all the best if you're going to be sitting for your IELTS exams in the near future. I also wish you all the best with your preparation. Now, thank you very much, and see you in our next lesson. Bye-bye.